Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalam ala Rasulillah wa ba'd. Inshallah ta'ala, today, Yom al-Arbi'ah, which is the 15th of October 2003, which is the 19th of Sha'ban, 14th Hijri. We once again begin with our lesson of explanation of Aqidah al Wasitiyyah by Sheikh Abdullah Ahmad ibn Salih al-Taymiyyah, rahimahullah rahmatun wasi'ah. We left off with the statement of the Mu'allaf, and the original author of the book, which is Awais Abdullah ibn Taymiyyah, rahimahullah, saying that this is the belief of the Firqat al-Najiyah, the saved group, Taif al-Mansura, victorious group, وَهُوَ إِيمَانُ بِاللَّهِ, and it is to believe in Allah. We're dealing with Taif al-Mansura ila qiyam as-sa'a, to the day of judgment, al-Sunnah wal-Jama'ah, the people of Sunnah and Jama'ah, and it is to believe in Allah. So we're going to deal with the belief in Allah ta'ala. We ended off by saying that the four matters must be believed in regarding the belief in Allah. Four matters must be believed in regarding the belief in Allah. So anybody who feels that they have it can present it, inshaAllah. The four matters that must be believed in regarding belief in Allah. Tafadhal. Everyone heard that? This is the four matters that one must believe regarding Allah ta'ala. Now the Shaykh, rahimahullah, will go into detail, tafseel regarding this. Before that though, I forgot, we gave a definition of Iman. What is Iman? You say Iman billah. What is Iman? Anybody recalls what the Shaykh said? If not, we'll read it again. Or to be recalled next time, inshaAllah. He got his hands up. We might know. Anyone else? What is Iman? We took it. We'll read it again, inshaAllah ta'ala. For either our brothers are sleepy and not woke yet, or they haven't memorized it, or whatever the case may be. Shyness of the like, or the like. He said, Iman fil lugha. We're not going to do a review like this every time we have a lesson, otherwise we'll go nowhere. We'll be on page 20 or 22 forever like this. Iman in the language is tasdeeq, brothers. Affirmation, confirming something. You affirm something, you have believed in it. This comes from the story of Yusuf alayhi salam, where they said that, you know, the wolf ate him and this and that, this happened. And they said, you're not going to believe in us. Meaning you're not going to what? Affirm what we have stated. You're not going to believe us truthful and affirm, in the language sense, affirm what we have stated. That in fact, Yusuf alayhi salam was eaten. Huh? You're not going to believe us. This is how it does in the language sense. The Sheikh says, though, in our understanding there should be in legislation, that Iman means that it has to be a faith that makes one accept all information that is given. All information that is given from Qur'an and Sunnah, you accept. Your belief means that you accept all information that is given. Wal-id'an, total submission to the ahkam, to the legislation. This is what he calls. He said it is a knowing and a recognition and a belief that makes you accept everything that you are informed of from the legislation, from the deen, and that you submit to all of the legislation. Ahkam. You got it? It is a matter that you believe in that makes it a must for you to accept all information that comes from the heavens, and that you submit to all legislation. If it doesn't do that, then it's not Iman. doesn't do that, then it's not iman. And all the verses show this, that they're bad. What bad in the desert Arabs say, we have believed. Say to them, you have not believed, but say you have submitted. Iman has yet entered your heart. What is that iman is going to enter? It's not that they rejected the belief that Allah exists, rejected that Allah is the Lord, and like this, but that iman, it makes them accept the truth and submit to it. It causes the heart to submit, causes the heart to go against its desires or whatever else that it is that it is involved in, and turn away from that and submit to what Allah says. It causes the heart to believe whatever Allah Ta'ala has revealed from the heavens. It believes in it. And qubul, total acceptance of the akhbar, of the information that comes from the heavens. Wal iz'an, total submission to the ahkam, to the legislations. This is what iman has to be. You can't say iman is just faith. It's a faith that makes it upon you, obligatory upon you, makes it a must upon you, that you submit, or that you accept all information and submit to all legislation. Accepting all information from Kitab and Sunnah, and submit to all legislation from Kitab and Sunnah. This is how Ibn Taymiyyah defines iman. I don't want to hear brothers say, well, it's just belief. Now you have belief in what it means to believe, to have this belief. Now he said this iman is in these four matters. When you come to the iman in Allah, it's those four matters, brothers, that we went over. Al-iman biwujudihi, the belief that Allah Ta'ala exists, subhanahu wa ta'ala. Al-iman birubiyatihi, the belief that Allah Ta'ala is the only Lord. Ayya al-infirad birubiyyah, that He alone is the Lord and the Master. Third one, al-iman bi-infiradihi bi-uluhiyyah, the iman that He alone must be worshipped. Fourthly, al-iman bi-asma'ihi wa sifatih, iman in the names and qualities of Allah. لا يمكن يتحقق إيمان إلا بذلك. It is impossible that one actualizes, that one has iman, except with these four matters. It is impossible for one, you can claim it all you want, but it's impossible for one to have iman unless and until he believes in these four matters. This is belief in Allah. وَمَنْ لَمْ يُؤْمِنْ بِوُجُودِ اللَّهِ, he who doesn't believe in the existence of Allah, فَلَيْسَ بِمُؤْمِنٍ, then he's not a believer. وَمَنْ آمَنَ بِوُجُودِ اللَّهِ, he who believes in the existence of Allah, but he doesn't believe that Allah alone is the Lord, فَلَيْسَ بِمُؤْمِنٍ, he's not a believer. وَمَنْ آمَنَ بِاللَّهِ, he who believes in Allah, and the fact that He's the Lord alone, but doesn't believe that He alone has the right to be worshipped, فَلَيْسَ بِمُؤْمِنٍ, he's not a believer. وَمَنْ آمَنَ بِاللَّهِ, he who believes in Allah, وَإِنْفِرَادُهُ بِرُبُوبِيَّةٍ, and He's the only Lord, وَأُلُوهِيَّةٍ, and He's the only one who has the right to be worshipped. وَلَكِنْ لَنْ يُؤْمِنْ بِأَسْمَاءِ وَصِفَاتِهِ, he doesn't believe in the names and qualities of Allah, فَلَيْسَ بِمُؤْمِنٍ, he's not a believer. He said, even though the last one, when you talk about belief in Allah's names and qualities, we can take away his iman totally, depending on certain conditions, or take away his the perfection or the completeness of iman, depending on what aspect of names and qualities you're talking about. In general, he who doesn't believe in these four concepts or these four matters together regarding Allah doesn't have what? Iman billah. He doesn't have it. Simple. Period. He doesn't believe in Allah. He can claim it all day, but he doesn't believe in Allah until he believes in those four matters. Now, al-iman bi-wujudihi, belief in the existence of Allah Ta'ala. إِذَا قَالَ قَائِلٌ, if someone were to state, the Shaykh is putting out, proposing this. إِذَا قَالَ قَائِلٌ, if someone was to say, مَا دَلِيلَ عَلَى وُجُودِ اللَّهِ عَزَّ وَجَلَّ, what is the evidence that Allah exists? قُلْنَا, we would say, الدَّلِيلَ عَلَى وُجُودِ اللَّهِ, the evidence of the existence of Allah are three matters. Don't run away from this term, this thing he's going to give. Nothing hard, nothing difficult. We wrap our hearts and our minds around it. We can understand it. We can digest it. We can live with it. Bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. The Arabic term should not befuddle you. There are al-aql, wal-hiss, wal-shara. What is the evidence of the existence of Allah? The reasoning, the mind, the intellect. There are evidences that are just rational, are just reasonable, are just intellectual evidences that prove the existence of Allah. So therefore he made that as a what? As one point of reference regarding evidence. The others are hiss, our sensories, what we sense, and then what we observe, what we see, what we hear, what we smell, what we taste. What we observe is more what he means here. Things that we observe that we cannot in any way reject or deny. Things that we observe we have no doubt about. We see it every day. Al-hiss. So this becomes an evidence. It's something you watch and you see, you observe, you sense every day. Wash-shara. The legislation. When we say the legislation, we mean what? The book of Allah Ta'ala and the Sunnah of the Messenger Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. The shara, the legislation. Sheikh says, الثلاثة, all of them, تدل على وجود الله. كلهم, all of them together are evidences of the existence of Allah. وإن شئت فزيد الفطرة. And if you want, you can add the fitra, the natural fitra, the natural essence, the natural inclination within the heart and mind and soul of every person. The fitra, the natural instinct in every person, the fitra. Add that as what? As one of the evidences of the existence of Allah. فَتَكُونَ الدَّلَائِلِ, therefore the evidences على وجود الله, upon the existence of Allah, are arba, 4. The intellect or reasoning, the senses, the fitra, and the legislation. And he said, I put legislation lastly, not because it shouldn't be put firstly. I put legislation last, not that it shouldn't be put first. It should be put first. But why did he put it last? Because I'm talking to those who don't believe in the legislation. Generally, when you speak about rububiyyah, alayhi salam, or the lordship, or the one, or the existence of Allah, as I should say, wujudullah, you're generally talking to somebody who's not a believer in legislation. So this is why he has brought intelligence first, senses first, and fitra first, and put the shara, legislation, last. He's talking to a believer, he would just say shara. Bring an ayah, what? Khalas, it's over. Bring a hadith, what? Khalas, he believes it is over. But when you're talking to somebody who don't believe in the legislation, you have these particular weapons in your armament. This is the manner that you present the issue. Aqliyan, rationally. And according to his sensor, what his senses tell him. Right? According to his fitra. This is what you are antatukhatib. This is what you're addressing, right, with this person. You can't come to a kafir and say, well, it's in Qur'an or something. Right? Like that. فَأَمَّا دَلَالَةُ الْأَقْلِ, as for evidence in the intellect, reasonable, reasoning, rational evidence, فَلْنَقُولُ alayhi salam, we say, هَلْ وُجُودْ هَذِهِ كَائِنَاتِ بِنَفْسِهَا, did all of this exist around us? The universe and everything that we see. Does all of this exist by itself? And did it come into existence by itself? Yani by chance? You understand his point? By chance, by itself? You didn't open it yet. Called sutfa in Arabic. Chance, just happened. Huh? What is that? Now, by chance, you have this on already? O, which is or in Arabic. Yani, he means بنفسها. I should back up. بنفسها, yani, that it created itself. That's what he means. I was concentrating on the phone and did it come into existence by it creating itself or sadfatan, by chance? Huh? So in Qulta, you were to say, it made itself, فَيَسْتَحِيلَ أَقْلًا. It makes no sense rationally. Something that was non-existent, how can it come into existence from nothing? Al-ma'doom laysa bi-shay hatta yujad. That which does not exist does not become something until it's brought into existence. إِذٍ لَا يُمْكِنُ أَن تُوجَدَ نَفْسَهَا بِنَفْسِهَا. So therefore it cannot create itself or make itself. وَإِن كُنْتَ وُجِدَ صَدْفًا, it came by chance, فَنَقُولُ هَذَا يَسْتَحِيلُ أَيْضًا. This is impossible also. فَأَنْتَ أَيُّهَا الْجَاهِلُ, O you one who is obstinate, did all of these airplanes and these missile throwers, if you will, and these cars and automobiles and all these types of machinery that we see, did they come by chance? Did they come by chance? فَيَقُولُ لَا يُمْكِنُ يَكُونُ. You say that's not possible. فَكَذَلِكَ, we say, these birds, these mountains, the sun, the moon, the stars, the trees, the animals, the oceans. It's impossible for them to come to existence just by chance. Just happen to just come into existence. Aqlan, his point is valid. How do you come from non-existence to existence? Something that doesn't exist cannot come into existence by itself. Has to have someone to bring it into existence. Right? And something that is so well formed, so well put together, cannot in itself come by chance. Just happened to be there. Just suddenly happened. Right? Accident, right? There was a group, this is a nice story, that they were called al-Sunnah. Nice story. The stories make things clear sometimes. Al-Sunnah, a group of people. They came to Abu Hanifa rahimahullah. They are from the Hindus, the Ahl al-Hind. So they come to Abu Hanifa. And they wanted to discuss and debate with Abu Hanifa. Abu Hanifa, you know, Nu'man ibn Thabit, one of the four Imams that the people refer to. Four Imams, Nu'man ibn Thabit. And they wanted to discuss with him the fact that Allah being created, the Creator. The fact of Allah being the Creator. This is what they want to have a munaqasha about, a discussion about. وكان Abu Hanifa, and Abu Hanifa was one of the most intelligent ones of the, amongst the scholars. So he told them to come, and he gave them appointments. Come tomorrow, and then come 2 days from now, like this, right? Then they came. قالوا ماذا قلت؟ قال, he said, I'm thinking. They said, what do you say? He said, I'm thinking about a boat, a ship, a large ship. مملوء من البضائع, full of all types of wares, full of all types of, people's property and these type of things, full of all types of things. Well, arzak and provision. Coming through the water, until it came to the shore, and then it let out its load, the ship let off its load, and it went back to where it came from. Here, ship full of all types of matter, full of all types of provision, traveled to its destination, got to the shore, let off its load, the ship, and then went on back. وَلَيْسَ فِيهَا قَائِدٌ. Didn't have anyone, a captain driving it. Didn't have any crew members. Didn't have anyone on board to carry it, to carry the property or anything on it. Just a ship by itself doing this. قالوا تفكروا بهذا. You're thinking about that? قال نعم. قالوا إذن ليس لك عقل. If you're thinking like this, Abu Hanifa, you don't have any intelligence. How you Akal? Doesn't make any sense that a ship will come without a captain, without someone driving it, without someone who, a group of people that will carry down its things and will load it and unload it. هذا ليس معقول. This doesn't make any sense. قال كيف لا تعقلون هذا? How can you not understand this? But you can understand that this samawat, these heavens, والشمس and the sun, والقمر and the moon, والنجوم and the stars, والجبال and the mountains, والشجر and the trees, والدواب and the animals, والناس and the people, all of them came without a creator or someone who made it, without a creator. فَعَرَفُوا أَنَّ الرَّجُلَ خَاطَبَهُم بِقَوْلِهِ. They understood that the man was addressing their intelligence. Their intelligence. وَعَجَزُوا عَنْ جَوَابِهِ هَذَا وَمَعْنَاهُ. And they were unable to respond to Abu Hanifa. They were unable to respond to Abu Hanifa. وَقِلَ لِأَعْرَبِي مِنَ الْبَعْدِيَةِ. It was said to the Bedouin Arab, بِمَا عَرَفْتَ رَبَّكَ. How did you know your Lord? فَقَالَ, he said, the traces that are left by a person is evidence that someone has passed. Traces that have left, evidence a person has passed a certain way, right? They leave a trace behind. And the droppings of a cow is evidence of a cow. So the heavens that are full of clouds, and the earth that is full of plants, and the oceans that are full of waves, it's just not evidence of as-sami', the all-hearing, al-basir, the all-seeing, and even Bedouin. Understand. And that this is evidence of that. This is evidence of that. وَلِهَذَا, because of this, قال الله عز وجل, Allah says, in Surah Al-Tur, verse 35, أَمْ خُلِقُوا مِنْ غَيْرِ شَيْءٍ. And was it created from nothing? أَمْ هُمُ الْخَالِقُونَ. Or are they themselves the creators? The Mut'im said when he heard this, his heart was about to fly. When he heard the Prophet say that. It hit him hard. And they didn't come out of nothing. It was made from something, by something. And they didn't create themselves. So there's only one answer left. That they were created by the Lord of all creation, Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. If you look at this ayah, it's strong. Ayah is قوي جدا. أم خلقوا من غير شيء. Were they created from nothing? By chance, accidentally just came. هم الخالقون, or they created themselves. Either you were made by someone or you made yourself. No other way to look at it. Then, therefore, al-aql, the first evidence we use, the reasoning, the rationale, the mind, the intellect, it is dalalatun qat'iyyah. It is an absolute evidence ala wujudillah, of the existence of Allah. He's proven his point. We have him. Has he proven his point? I don't think he can do better. هكذا. أما دلالة الحس, the evidence from the senses, and that which we observe, that which we see, على وجود الله, that Allah Ta'ala exists. فإن الإنسان يدعو الله عز وجل, that a man will call upon Allah عز وجل, يقول يا رب, oh my Lord, ويدعو بشيء, and he'll ask for something. ثم يستجاب له فيه, and he'll be answered. Been going on for centuries. Going on since when? 4 centuries, huh? وهذا دلالة الحسية. This is a evidence of the senses. هو نفسه لم يدع إلا الله. He didn't call upon except Allah. واستجاب الله له, and Allah answered him. رأى ذلك برأيه. He saw the answer with his own eyes. وكذلك نحن نسمع. We hear عمن سبق وعمن في عصرنا. We hear from those who preceded us and those who live in our time that Allah Ta'ala answered their what? Their prayers. Allah Ta'ala answered their prayers. This is the evidence of what? Hissi, observational evidence of our senses that show that Allah Ta'ala exists. فَلَأَعْرَبِي, the Bedouin Arab, الذي دخل الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم يخطب, came one day and the Prophet Islam was on a minbar giving a khutbah. يوم الجمعة. He said, حلقت أموال, the wealth has been destroyed. وانقطع السبل, and the pathways have been cut off. Why? Because of the rain, because of the amount of water coming down. Floods, he said. There's floods, and our provision has been destroyed, and our roads are cut off. Mud and water, no way to get anywhere. But Allah, call upon Allah. Yes, يغيثنا, to save us, to help us. قال Anas رضي الله عنه said, Wallahi, by Allah, ما في السماء من سحاب. Actually, this is the opposite. انقطع السبل, he means before the rain started. This is after this. This is before the rain started. Other words, it was a drought. Put it that way. I'm glad I caught it because you brothers don't seem to be woke. Catch me sometimes, please, if I fall. I might slip. I might trip. Catch me. Ya Aba Awais, hakeza. It's a drought. And all of you should know this narration is ma'aruf. It's a known narration in the books of the Sunnah. Huh? Yeah, on both cases. Now here you come now. I needed you 3 minutes ago. Jazakallah khair. Naam. So a drought, and he's asking for what? He's asking for rain. And you can see how the roads will be cut off also due to a drought, and how wealth will be destroyed due to a drought. The vegetation becoming rotten because it's not receiving any rain, and like this. A drought. And we've experienced some hot days, so you can compare this mentally with that. Anas says there was not a cloud in the sky. There was not a cloud in the sky. Huh? And he says, وَمَا بَيْنَنَا وَبَيْنَ السَّلَعِ. And that's a mountain in Medina. مِنْ بَيْتْ وَلَا الدَّارِ. But after the Prophet ﷺ raised his hand, and after he made dua, فوراً, directly, here comes the clouds. And here comes the thunder, as he says, and the lightning. وَنَزَلَ الْمَطَرِ. And the rain came down. And the rain came down. فَمَا نَزَرَ رَسُولُ. The Prophet did not come down from the minbar, except that rain was in his beard, alayhi salam. Except that rain was in his beard, alayhi salam. This is related by Bukhari in the book Kitab Istisqa, asking for rain. Chapter Al-Istisqa, asking for rain in the Khutbah al-Jum'ah. This is related by Imam Muslim in his book Salat al-Istiqa, the book of the prayer for asking for rain. Chapter, the dua al-Istisqa, the du'as you made when asking for rain. وَهَذَا أَمْرٌ وَاقِعٌ. This is a matter that actually took place. Huh? And this matter is an evidence that shows the existence of Al-Khaliq, the Creator, from the evidence of your senses and what you are able to observe. No, this is someone whose fitrah hasn't been corrupted, because the scientists observe more than this, or something equal to it every day, and they turn their head away from it and still have the audacity, some of them, to be the agnostic, doubting the existence of the Creator, or atheists saying that there's no Creator. And he who Allah does not guide, for him there is no guide. وفي القرآن كثير من هذا. In the Quran, there's a lot of evidence like this. So even though he's telling us that he's left the shar, the legislation for last, for each point, even aqlan, hissi, and in a hissi, he's getting the ayat from Quran that show that what he's doing is, his understanding is proper in this regard. مثل وَأَيُّوبَ إِذْ نَادَى رَبَّهُ. And Job, when he called upon his Lord, or Ayyub as we call him, alayhi salam, أَنِّي مَسَّنِيَ الضُّرُّ, harm has touched me. وَأَنْتَ أَرْحَمُ الرَّاحِمِينَ, and you are the most merciful of those who show mercy. فَاسْتَجَبْنَا لَهُ, and we answered his dua. Surah Anbiya, verses 83 to 84. وَغَيْرِ ذَلِكَ مِنَ الْآيَاتِ, or any other ayah in Quran where someone's making dua, Zakaria and Surah Maryam, whatever ayah where someone making dua is evidence what? Of the existence of Allah Ta'ala. Observing evidence from the senses, something you can observe and sense that Allah Ta'ala exists. Amma regarding the dalil al-fitra, فإن كثيرا من الناس, many people who their instincts have not been corrupted believe in the existence of Allah. حتى البهائم, بهائم الأجم, and he means here, and those like the no, he's talking about the animals. Yeah, بهائم الأجم تؤمنون بوجود الله, they believe in Allah. And the story of the Namla, the ant that Suleiman went by, you know that, came out and said, oh, so, watch it, Suleiman and his army is going to step all over us. And these type of things. He gives a story here about an ant that's related regarding Suleiman alayhi salam went out seeking water. Someone went out seeking water rather and found this Namla laying on her back, raising her wings or whatever to the heavens, or raising whatever, qawa'iniha, I don't know what that is. I guess some portion of the body of the ant towards the sama, towards the heavens. Taqu Allahumma ana, oh Allah, I am a creature from your creature. Do not prevent me from your provision or from getting liquid from you. So it seems Suleiman said, I hope that you have been provided liquid or provided refreshment by the dua of other than you. Anyway, evidence fitriya, of the fitra. Matbula, it's something that a person naturally has inside of them. Naturally has the instinct for. Naturally has this instinct to believe in Allah Ta'ala, recognition of Allah Ta'ala and His Tawheed. And Allah Ta'ala pointed to this in His statement, وَإِذْ أَخَذَ رَبُّكَ مِنْ بَنِي آدَمٍ مِنْ ظُهُورِهِمْ. when Allah took from the children of Adam from ظُهُورِهِمْ, from their backs, ذُرِّيَّاتُهُمْ, their lineage, or their children from them, وَاشْهَدَهُمْ عَلَى أَنفُسِهِمْ, and made them witness upon themselves. أَلَسْتُ بِرَبِّكُمْ, am I not your Lord? قَالُوا بَلَى, they said yes. شَهِدْنَا أَن تَقُولُوا يَوْمَ الْقِيَامِ إِنَّا كُنَّا عَنْ هَذَا غَافِلِينَ. And he witnessed so that you cannot say on the day of judgment that you are unaware of this. 172 of A'araf. Or تَقُولُ إِنَّمَا أَشْرَكَ آبَاؤُنَا, or you say that verily our fathers committed shirk min qabl, before, وَكُنُّ ذُرِّيَّةٍ مِّن بَعْدِهِمْ, and we were their children after them. فَهَذِهِ ayah, this evidence, once again it's in Surah Al-A'raf, 172, 173, if you want to look it up yourself. فَهَذِهِ ayah تَدُلُّ, is evidence of that mankind, it is his fitra, his natural instinct is on the fact of witnessing in the existence of Allah and the lordship of Allah. Now, he's giving a little tafsir here. Whether we say that Allah Ta'ala took them out of the back of Adam and made them witness themselves, إن هذا هو ما ركب الله تعالى في فطره من إقرار به, or this is something that Allah Ta'ala naturally placed in their fitrah and they were affirming it. The ayah shows distinctly and clearly that the people know their Lord in a natural way. The people know their Lord in in the natural. It's adilla what? Fitra. The fitra. So these are arba adilla. 4 evidences, brother, upon the wujudillah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You want to test now or you want it after? Ask questions now or ask them Friday? Wujudillah. 4 evidences of the existence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Naam. Actually, was that 4? He's saying 4, but it seems like it's 3, and the 4th will be the shara, right? Ala kulli hala. Amma dalalat al-shara, the evidence of the legislation. فَلَإِنَّمَا جَاءَ بِهِ رُسُلٌ, that which the messengers came with, min shara'i, from the legislations that Allah sent them with, that which has everything that is a benefit to creation, shows that they were sent by a Lord who is merciful and who is wise. Especially this great Qur'an, which jinn and men are unable to come up with anything similar to it. Okay? Now, this is his belief in Allah. And this, we're going to go over other sections in the book, of course, but the book of Aqidah. But if you're asked, what is Iman Billah, when Ibn Taymiyyah says it, when he says this is the i'tiqad, the belief of the firqat al-najiyah, the saved group, Ta'if the Mansura, the victorious group, ila qiyam al-sa'ah, to establish the hour, al-Sunnah wal-Jama'ah, al-Iman Billah. This is what he means, Ibn Taymiyyah. This is what like I said, it would be wrong to read from a man's book and then to go somewhere else. So I read where Hafiz Hakim, he said this, I read it said this. We're now dealing with the explanation of Ibn Taymiyyah for this matter. So this covers what we have just taken, our Iman Billah in the general sense. Right? Believing in 4 matters with evidences from 4 matters. Believing in 4 matters with evidences from 4 matters. Believing in the existence of Allah, the lordship of Allah, the fact that Allah alone should be worshipped, and the fact and the names and qualities of Allah. Basing that on the aql, the reasoning, the hiss, and the senses that can, an observable sense, the senses that we observe with, right? Well, the fitra wa shara, the fitra and the legislation. It's not hard, brother. It's not hard. You gotta learn it, memorize it, get it together so that you can give what? Da'wah to it. Can't give da'wah to it, brother say, well, give me some da'wah, and brother can't hardly get out for he can't get it out. Then we go to explaining it, he's explaining one aspect of Tawheed, mixing it with another. Time out for all that madness. It's time to go ahead and be sound and be meticulous in our presentation of this matter, because we have to be meticulous and have to be on solid ground in our belief of this matter. Can't be believing something you're confused about. You cannot be believing something you're confused about. So you must be on clarity, upon clarity in your belief before you can be upon clarity in your presentation of your belief. Want me to say that again? You seem like you want me to say that again. You must be upon clarity in your belief before you can be upon clarity in presentation of your belief. This is a point that must be understood. None. I think we should ask a little before we go on to malaikatuhu, so that we make sure that this might be a lot for some brothers. They're not used to going over these type of issues. To take, some brothers may have to strip it from the Arabic language, and understand it just in that broad sense with the English language. Some brothers can put the adillah and the evidence together. Can probably quote the ayah from Surah Al-Tur and like this. Everyone's on different levels, whatever, but everyone has to understand. We're not sitting here, flipping pancakes or something. We're sitting here trying to study our deen and know it. So, what are the 4 matters we must believe in regarding Allah Tabaraka Ta'ala? Fadl. Any type of order you can put it in, we will accept at this time, and you can go back over it, inshallah. Okay. Just put it this way. It's nothing but the existence of Allah in the three aspects of Tawheed. The existence of Allah in the three aspects of Tawheed. You want to? That was the one? No. You got it? Give it. Should I have him translate? Have him translate to make sure he knows. Yeah. Like he alone should be worshipped. Right. Is that all? You got everything? Anybody else? You got it? You? Say it. Huh? What do you say? No, he must have got that from somebody else around here. When we raise our hands, we speak. Further. Allahu Akbar. Who can give me evidence of the existence of Allah? Okay, somebody else. He wasn't ready. Think about it. Go ahead. Huh? No, I didn't ask you what evidence you're going to use. You have four options. You can use something from the brain, reason. You can use something from your senses and observation. You can use something from the fitrah, or you can use something from legislation. I don't care what evidence you use. Just give me some evidence of the existence of Allah. Light me a day. What type of evidence is that? What type of evidence is it? Which is it? Is it intellectual, reasonable, observable? What is it? And your hiss and your observation, you think that's what it falls under? Probably fall under more than that. Yeah, because legislation, yeah. Even in the Shara. I mean, because the evidence we use in the Surah Thalatha, when Bima, how did you know your Lord? Right? Like that. Anyway, ala kulli halin, you always got to make things different. Yeah, you just wanted a basic thing that was showing evidence for the four matters, Akhi. One of the four matters. What's a rational argument for the fact that Allah Ta'ala exists? Go ahead, Akhi. What you think? And here, go more to the asl of it. Not the fact of just, no doubt, Allah Ta'ala is strongly agreeing, but Allah is the one who brought you, gave you life into existence, right? Nothing comes into existence out of nothing, right? Either it made itself or someone or something else made it. And it making itself is impossible. So therefore you're only left with one answer. That Allah Ta'ala is the one who made everything. Abu Hanifa's argument was nice for these Sunniyah who denied the existence of a creator. And they had ships loaded with all types of wares, going from place to place, to port, unloading its wares and going back without anyone upon this ship, without anybody driving, without anybody captain, without any qa'id port or anything. These people from Hind or India called the Sunniyah said that's insane. Ship would have to have someone who would load it. Ships would have to have someone who would, direct it and would keep it on course, who would make it go to this port and that port, who would load it and unload it. And then what did he say? If you can believe that regarding the ship, then what about the heavens and the sun and the moon and the stars and the universe? This would have to have a creator, a master, a controller, the one that is running the affairs of all of this. Now, isn't it?
I use an example when I'm talking to somebody and I ask them about that car over there and you think that car can see itself and it goes through the court. And I say, well, how do you think that happens like that?
Same evidence. Same evidence. Now. Example of his existence first.
Right. So therefore that goes to show that there's some thing that's in existence in Allah that controls the elements.
You bring us to a point that the Sheikh Rahimahullah was bringing evidence under each one of these and bringing an ayah to show it. Right? You have something? Huh?
Yeah.
Allahu Akbar. Yeah. Nah. Nah. That's under the one that he did. Hiss. This is observable. Same thing as the big one Arab acts upon to make dua. Zachariah, as everybody knows, Zachariah alayhi salam made dua, and he was old, and his wife was old, plus she was barren. Right? He was old, and plus she was barren. Yet when they made dua, what happened? Allah Ta'ala granted them Yahya. Yahya. So this is a hissi, something observed that people, a boy walking on earth, you can't just turn your eyes away from that. Old man didn't have a son, now he got a son, right? That's something observable. So these are evidences, and when the hearts are clean, the minds are thinking about the signs of Allah Ta'ala, they have a lot of spiritual meaning to them. When our hearts are rusty, and we're not really upon the remembrance of Allah as much as we should be, it doesn't seem as amazing. The believer goes out, he sees the moon, that means something to him. See Badr, full moon. Kafir is like, the moon is there every day. Right? We're different in that regard. These evidences are evidence that are used for a kafir. So for us, it should be something that uplifts our iman and strengthens our iman and makes us have more faith regarding Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They shouldn't be. And ayat. And we will show you signs. And fi anfusikum, and even within yourself. You got to do is look in the mirror and, it increases your iman. And the four matters he uses evidence upon these matters. And on the other three aspects, he's going to go in more detail, but these should be known. This is something we must teach our children. We must know, we should make sure our family knows. If we say Tawheed of Allah and His Lordship, Rububiyyah, they know that. Tawheed Asma Sifat, give me an example of it, they know that. Tawheed of Allah and His worship, what is it? What's the example? You got evidence on it, what is it? They should know that. This is what we should be at. And this is the purpose for which we came to existence. How are we going to just miss that? Not understand that. Is there something more important? Maybe it's something more important. I don't think so. Nothing more important than knowing this issue, having it as an i'tiqad, aqd, that which is tied to your heart, and your heart cannot be removed from. That's what aqidah means. Your heart is knotted to it, tied to it, never separated from it. So that this is in our heart, engraved in our heart, and that when we die and we're in the graves and the questions are asked, they come out very easily and very simple for us because this is something that we really believe. So next time, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, Friday, we take the next one, which is Iman bi Malaikatihi. You might have to go through it a little bit swifter because it is more detailed, and we want to cover some. We'll see. We might have to split it up. We'll see. But it's the belief in the angels. And belief in the angels. And many of the Muslims, unfortunately, are asleep when it comes to this particular aspect of Iman, or don't know much about it. If you ask them basically about angels, they don't know much about angels. You know? And it's really absurd if they get their understanding about angels from these kuffar. That is madness upon madness. So Iman billahi, belief in Allah, wa malaikatihi. And we have now arrived at page 45 in this work, and we have a few hundred to go, inshaAllah ta'ala, if Allah ta'ala spares us. هذا وصلى الله على نبينا محمد. If there's any answers or questions, or answers too, comments or whatever, then فَيَتَفَضَّلْ مَشْكُورًا. Our brothers in Atlanta, are they there? Maybe you never turned it on, I don't know. Okay, yes, we're here. Yeah, well, do you have questions? Yeah, this is basic. This is basic Aqidah 101. Any questions? We'll ask next time, inshallah, for the 4 evidences of the existence of Allah, and the 4 matters that we must believe in regarding belief in Allah. He did make a point in closing that one must believe in what? 2 or 3 of these aspects? All 4. And that if he missed one, he's not a believer. And he gave an example. One believes in the existence of Allah, but he doesn't believe in Lordship of Allah. He's what? Not a believer. Believe in the existence and Lordship of Allah, but he doesn't believe that Allah alone should be worshipped. He's not a believer. Believe in the existence of Allah and the Lordship of Allah, and the fact that Allah alone has the right to be worshipped, but he doesn't believe in the names and qualities of Allah Ta'ala. He's not a believer, right? So it has to be in a belief in existence of Allah, the Lordship of Allah, the names and qualities of Allah, and the fact that Allah alone has the right to be worshipped. In order, all or nothing. Jazakallah khair. All or nothing regarding this belief. It has to be studied. I can't stress that enough. Or it is time out for those who walk around talking about Salafiyah, and you ask them a basic question in Aqidah, and and they act as if you've asked them a calculus problem, and their eyes roll around in their foreheads, and they look up and look down, right and left, and they have no answer to give. And they say they're on Salafiyah. This is the Risala you carry. This is the message that you carry. This is the Risala that you live upon. This is the Risala that you live, that you implement. This is the purpose behind your life. How can you be ignorant of this matter? So this is important to understand. And so much other stuff that we pick up and we inculcate and we make a part of our life. And a year ago, it wasn't a part of our life. And 2 years ago, it wasn't a part of our life. And later now, woe to us, would it not have been made part of our life? Some of the stuff. You know what I'm saying? And here is something that is a very important factor in our life. The utmost factor, most important factor. And many of us, act as if it's nothing and give no concern to it, either because of our desires, or either because of our absent-mindedness, or either because of our neglect, or either because we've been infected by the Hizbis who don't give importance to these issues, so therefore we don't give importance to it. Whatever the case is, it has to stop. We have to begin to learn this Aqidah and know it. No one in this room after these lessons should be in a state of ignorance regarding this issue. No one in this room who hears these tapes or whatever, and they should be in ignorance regarding this matter. No one. هذا وصلى الله على نبينا محمد.